Well, since the announcement of broad-ranging tariffs from the U.S., Canadians rallied to buy Canadian goods. Now that we're into the holiday season, is that trend continuing, or is it gaining steam, or is it tailing off? The BDC is reporting Canadians are spending more locally this holiday. Here to talk about it is Pierre Cléroux, Chief Economist at BDC. And Pierre, thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning.
You just had a report out a little while ago about what the planned spending is. What are the numbers looking like for Canadians when it comes to this holiday season?
Well, Canadians are going to spend an average of $943 for the holidays. This is about the same amount than last year. But what is really different is 46% are saying they're going to spend more on Canadian products and services. So this is important because this could really have an impact on the Canadian economy.
Martin, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, I just my question for you, Pierre, would be the very interesting report in terms of the movement is just the pressure on household budgets. We hear about it all the time. How much more expensive is it for a pressured household, during the holiday season to buy Canadian, and not go to maybe a cheaper global alternative?
Well, it depends what you buy. Canadians that are in the survey, they are saying that they are going to buy more, for example, on food and clothing that are made in Canada, on entertainment, for example, on services. So Canadians are making the right choice in terms of choosing, because like you said, budget is a bit tight this year. But what is very different is Canadians want to support the Canadian businesses, the local business, and that's the reason why they're shifting to more Canadian products and services.
And so, what does that mean for the economy if they could, if the 46% say they could end up buying an extra 50% of their goods were in Canada, and what would that contribute to the economy? How many jobs would that mean here that stay in Canada?
According to our economic model, it will have a positive impact on the GDP, will increase by $11 billion, and that represents about 45,000 jobs. So we encourage Canadians for this holiday season to spend more in Canadian goods, and we can even have a bigger impact than the one we have estimated.
And if you were to encourage Canadians to spend, would it be on goods or would it be more on services, the restaurants, something that's more local? Because I imagine the leakage on buying goods is more likely to have less of a multiplier effect if you were to spend money on gift cards for local businesses and restaurants, etc. Is that right?
You're right, and that's what we encourage Canadians. If you don't know what to give, a gift card is from a local business. It's a great way to give a gift, but also to give a gift that will have a positive impact on your community. Having said that, there's a lot of products that are made in Canada. Food is a good example. Clothing is a good example. Even personal care products that you can buy. Some of them are made in Canada. So good or services, the important part is to look at buying Canadian to encourage the Canadian economy. In this difficult period of time, we had trade tension this year. The economy has been slowing down. So anything we can do to support the Canadian economy, I think we should do it for the holidays.
Now, you mentioned about the made in Canada. I think one of the struggles people have had with trying to support this is what is actually made in Canada, what is something that kind of says it's made in Canada, but maybe isn't necessarily. And then we see some companies that are not Canadian, but then they make all their stuff in Canada.
You're right. There's a lot of different options. The good news is over the last 6-8 months, we see that it's a bit more clear. Often businesses will market themselves as Canadian business or Canadian product. They will have a logo as Canadian product. So it's a bit easier to make that choice today than I would say at the beginning of 2025.
And is there sorry, Martin, go ahead.
I was going to say on that point, I mean, I've heard the term, maple washing in terms of trying to be seen as being Canadian. Are you seeing evidence of a lot of companies and goods and services, do we pretend they're Canadian more, or is it just not really a big factor?
No, I don't think it's a big factor. What we see more is Canadian who make Canadian products that maybe they didn't announce themselves, but market themselves as Canadian product. Now they do because they understand that Canadians are looking for Canadian products. And it's not only products, also we're talking about services, entertainment, for example, and tourism. Canadians have been traveling more in Canada this year than less in the US. And we saw the difference in the number. The tourism industry has been really growing this year just because Canadians made that decision to travel more in Canada in 2025.
Okay, Pierre, thank you very much for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Pierre Cléroux is chief economist at the BDC.